Hi guys, Ashwin here, and today we'll get started with Sui Deep Dive series of episode 5, and we will start learning about the NFTs in Sui, and which is very much similar to how we are defining coins in Sui exactly because we are creating unique objects every time whenever we play around with Sui coins. So as we already know, NFTs are non-fungible tokens, which is going to be unique, right? So there will be no much similarities that we will be discussing today, but in the upcoming videos, like tomorrow or day after tomorrow, we will be discussing about how we can actually have the NFTs be utilized in actual dApps or in the Sui ecosystem to utilize its maximum potential. For instance, there are concepts like kiosk in Sui and also asset tokenization package in Sui, which will be utilizing them to create NFTs and manage NFTs. And yeah, let's get started. Now let's talk about we will be covering two concepts here today, and which is going to be very simple according to me. But we will see the actual difference between Sui and EVM in the upcoming episodes, and as well as covering some just overview of how it's going to differ in this episode. So, number one, we will be talking about uh, what are NFTs in Sui and how it actually differs from coin, and then we will be seeing what is soulbound NFTs, which is very much simple, but you can see the actual difference since we have covered in the previous episodes of what is an object in the Sui ecosystem and how we create an object using abilities in Sui, and that is some things we will be discussing in this video. So when we start to discuss about NFTs in Sui, we also need to know the difference between the ERC 721 standard that we follow in EVM, how we create NFTs in Sui, and how we are going to create NFTs in how we are going to create NFTs in EVM, and how we are going to create NFTs in Sui. Okay, how it's going to differ. First of all, as we might have already known in coin, it is having an ability, say key and store, right? Which says that it can be publicly transferred. Okay, but this is a fungible token. Okay, but what we need is it's a fungible coin. We need to make sure we identify coin and token in Sui ecosystem. So what is the exact difference between fungible coin and non-fungible token here? So let's say I create an NFT and it's going to have the same ability as key and store, but what it's going to what is the difference between this coin and the NFT is the metadata that you are going to have, and whatever content that you are going to have in the NFT, the unique ID. So as this is the thing that we need to notice. So when you have a coin or any object in specific, any object, you have the field. If you have the ability key, any object as key, then you have the field as unique ID. So when we talk about non-fungible tokens, every NFTs are unique, and every for instance in the EVM side, we map the exact address to that exact unique IDs, unique ID NFT, right? So when I'm transferring that exact NFT, we just transfer that unique ID to someone else, and you just map it with his new address, like with the new recipient address. So that's how we do it in EVM, right? So here we are just transferring the whole asset. We already know that the content difference is going to be the difference that we need to actually notice here, but there are other more differences that we'll be seeing in the upcoming videos of how exactly we are going to manage NFTs, and you know yeah, there's some quite lots of things that you can do using kiosk and asset management package. So the feeds is going to be something like name of the NFT, then metadata, then some URL. Say I'm going to store this NFT in Walrus, say, okay. There is no need for us to use IPFS here, right? We have the file storage system Walrus, and you have the blob ID here, and you can attach the blob ID here in the URL tag, okay, here in the URL. So this is the exact NFT that we are talking about in the Sui side, and this is an NFT, right? So just key and store. So when we talk about NFTs in EVM, as I have discussed now, we just have the NFT ID, and it might be mapped with something like address to NFT ID, which is going to be something U64 or okay. So this is some mappings that is going to change every once in a while when you transfer the NFTs from address to address. So this is the difference. So what exactly that we are going to see in the next coming up videos is how exactly you transfer the NFTs and you also manage the NFTs, and which is quite similar, right, to be very honest, because we already saw about coins, which is an object, and NFTs are objects, and which is also having some unique IDs, and coins is also having some unique IDs, and they are fungible coins, and this is fungible tokens, sorry, non-fungible tokens. But there are differences that we will see with concepts, kiosk, and asset management package, which is going to be a lengthy video tomorrow. I'm just giving you some hints over to catch up to tomorrow, okay? So that is something. And when we discuss about these things, we also want to refresh about the transfer primitives, right? The transfer module gives you exactly two main functions that we need to discuss here, which is the public transfer. When we discussed earlier in the last episode, you might have seen we use public transfer only if the object is having key and store ability. So you can use the NFT to transfer. You can call this public transfer method. You can call this public transfer method on this NFT, and you can make sure you transfer the NFT to another recipient, right? So this is something you can do. Then what else? There is another primitive that we discussed, which is transfer primitive, which we will be using to transfer between modules, right? Which we will be using to transfer between modules. So that is such thing. And what I have discussed in the previous section is when I'm giving an intro, we will be also discussing what are soulbound NFTs, which is the same concept that we read in EVM, right? So when we think about soulbound NFTs, it is a non-transferable, non-fungible token, okay? So this is something you can notice in the Sui, and you might have already guessed. So when you have the NFT with the key and store ability, you can publicly transfer between recipient 1 to recipient, like you can transfer between different accounts. But when I make sure I remove the store ability, I can't use this public transfer primitive. So I can't use this public transfer primitive, which restricts me to use only the transfer primitive. And when I use only the transfer primitive, it becomes a soulbound NFT. So you can only transfer the NFT between say you can transfer it between module to module for just some interactions within your module, like interactions within the module itself. So when we think about if there is a unique specific use case, then you have the need to transfer your soulbound NFTs between address to address, which we might see, because soulbound NFTs are, the use case itself are non-transferable, and it should be something attached to your wallet only, and you should use that for some specific purposes, right? So it restricts to only the transfer primitive, and it makes sure that your exact non-fungible token is a soulbound NFT now. So next up we will be seeing what are kiosk. So what is the kiosk concept in Sui, and what is the asset management package that they have that they have did already in Sui ecosystem. And I'll be also discussing the previous open source modules or packages in Sui, which is currently deprecated, I guess. uh, I am not aware of the exact repository name and the community which built it, but it's quite deprecated when I last saw it before weeks, because you use that exact package to create NFTs, and you use them to burn NFTs, and you do lots of actions with it, instead of creating your own module to do that. Or because there are certain modules, right? For if you take about coin, you have the coin module in the Sui ecosystem, but is there an NFT related module? Then we have it now, but previously there weren't something like that. So we'll also discuss about them in a just overview fashion. Then yeah, we will just see in the next episode. Thank you.